Hi there, today we are going to be making some low carb or zero carb cauliflower tortillas. So for any of you that are on the low carb healthy fat diet, this is perfect for you. There is another recipe on here. This is a base recipe. There's another recipe on here for sour cream and chicken enchiladas using these as the tortilla wrap. Okay, so first up we need to roast the cauliflower. So I have measured out the correct amount of cauliflower here in florets. You can go slightly smaller than that, slightly larger than that. You just have to chop it accurately. So we're going to put in about 250 grams at a time, or half. It's just over 500 grams of cauli here. And you don't want to go too much at a time because it just won't chop equally. And we're creating cauliflower rice, basically. Then we're going to roast it. So just up to speed 6, 1 second. So 1 second, literally 1 second on the clock. And you can see how fine that is. We're tipping it out into a baking dish. Hang on. And it's lined with paper just so that it makes it easier to remove when we've baked it. The oven has been preheated to 180 degrees. Oh no, sorry, 160. Okay, so we'll do the rest. This is how fast it is. 1 second. Speed 6, gotta love that. Again. Just till that 1 second shows up on the clock. And done. So if you had any other little big pieces in there that weren't quite chopped, then that would be the time to put them back in and go again. But we didn't today. Perfect. We're going to roast this for exactly 18 minutes and then we'll come back. So like I said, we've preheated the oven. So we'll see you in a minute. Well, 20 minutes, 18 minutes. Just level it out. Okay, be right back. So we have baked the cauliflower rice and this is what we have left. Now this actually looks quite dry as a mixture, but I'm going to show you just how much liquid we can get out of it. And you could use this liquid as the vegetable stock. So just tip that into a nut milk bag. If you don't have a nut milk bag, you can use a layer of muslin, you can use a tea towel. Just don't squeeze it too hard because you'll break your tea towel. So I'm just using the nut milk bag and now I'm going to squeeze the liquid out. This is actually cooled significantly, but it's still quite warm. So make sure you don't burn yourself. And you can see we're getting a lot of liquid out of that. And if you don't get rid of that, you're going to find it really hard to make your tortillas. So there we go. You can see like almost, we've reduced that significantly. Keep going and just reserve that liquid if you choose to use it as stock. Okay, it's not bad. So now we're going to add what we have left, the dry part, back into the Thermomix bowl. Wow, that's amazing. Look, that was a really watery one. Sometimes they're not that watery. They don't have that much liquid. Okay, so we're going to add that back in. What we have, the dry bit, and I'll just show you a little piece of it in a second. So just to show you, it's kind of holding together, holding its shape. And we're going to add in the remaining ingredients. So we have 2 eggs that I've already cracked. We are going to use psyllium husk. So psyllium husk is like glue. It will stick together and it's good to use the psyllium husk while this is hot. So while the cauliflower is still warm or hot, it's better to use it now because this will help the psyllium husk do the job that we need it to do. We're putting in 80 grams of psyllium husk, which is quite a lot because it's fairly light. And this will help us glue our tortillas together. Oh, there we go, okay. Lots of salt because the flavour is quite bland otherwise. So we're using 2 teaspoons. Good guess there. This is my own my own coconut flour. You can purchase coconut flour. It's expensive. There is a video showing you how to make coconut cream or coconut milk, and the solids that you have left you dehydrate in the oven, and that's your coconut flour. So I'm using my own coconut flour, 120 grams, and I might have to end up using some purchased. Yep, I just used it all up. Be right back. So we're going to blend this for 10 seconds on speed 6 while the cauliflower is still hot, okay? Up to speed 6. Make sure that it's totally combined. So there's a little bit on the outside. So I'm going to go a little bit more time. You could push it together actually on the mat, but we'll just let it go a little bit longer. Up to 6 again. Okay, so I've got my Silpat mat here. We're going to sprinkle some coconut flour onto that. This mixture will continue to absorb all the liquid that's in it because of the psyllium husk and because of the coconut flour. So you may find that you have to keep adding coconut flour throughout the process, okay? So we're going to pull all this mixture together and knead it together, and you'll find that it will come together and it sort of sets like a jelly kind of solid dough mixture. So just pulling it all in, and I'm going to let it rest for a little while, but I'm going to cut it first into the number of tortillas that we're making. So we're going to, it's escaping, we're going to roll them out flat once they've rested a little bit, because that psyllium husk has to absorb everything and do its job of sticking everything together. Okay, so just with your spatula, when you've got that all nice and solid, and you do have to use your hands, I'm sorry. It's just the nature of what we're making here. So maybe, I think we're going to try and get 8 out of it. So flatten it out and then just let them sit there. That's going to be a big one, hang on. Make them even if you can. And then we're going to let that rest just for a little while before we start playing with them and rolling them out and cooking them. So in the meantime, we'll go and we'll preheat our pan. So roll them into a ball and then let them rest, covered over. See, that one doesn't want to play with me. It's exciting stuff, isn't it? The cauliflower bread. Okay, so just let that sit there. They won't join back together, I don't think. We'll soon find out. Oops, it's escaped. Ah! All right, we'll be right back with a hot pan. Okay, so we're going to start rolling out the tortillas or the wraps, cauliflower wraps. So a little bit of coconut oil, coconut flour again. Make sure there's no big lumps because they'll just get absorbed in. Onto a piece of paper, or you could do it on this mat, and then flatten it a little bit. Try and keep the ball as tightly knit as you can. Dust it on both sides, flatten it, and then start rolling with another piece of paper on top. And then we're heating the pan with coconut oil. Coconut oil has a really high smoke point, so it means you can fry something quite quickly without the oil getting sticky or burning. Okay, so that's why I prefer to use coconut oil for frying. And given that these are quite delicate, it's a good idea to use something that's a relatively high heat. Okay, so we're going to try and put that into the fry pan. You want to come with me? Okay, so we're going to transfer the cauliflower wrap or the tortilla into the smoking pan. This is the tricky part. Don't try this at home. And it's a little sticky. They're quite delicate, like I said. Until you've cooked them, they're really quite delicate. So you need to be a little bit careful. And we're just going to let that cook on a medium-high heat for a couple of minutes, or until it started to brown and puff a little bit, and then we have to turn it over. That's the hard part. You can see that it's getting nice and toasty on the bottom. And in fact, as we are going to use these for something later today, or another recipe on here, it's potentially okay to just cook the one side because you're going to roll it up anyway and use it. But I'm going to attempt for the first time on the Insider Club to cook both sides. So watch this space. Oh, it's smelling beautiful. Okay, and I'm just going to try and get it switched over. Okay, here we go. Oh, we lost a little bit, but you can see how toasty and brown that is. Just beautiful. So that's about as brown as you need it. You don't want it any browner than that. And I lost a little bit underneath. Once they're cooked, they're actually quite flexible and you can use them and fill them as you would a normal tortilla. Okay, so we're going to keep cooking those and we'll be showing you the end results shortly. So here we go. This is our finished tortillas. We fried them all up. They did improve over time. They got easier to handle. So it is a good idea to follow the recipe and not rush it through just for a camera shot. This is a little piece there and you can see how toasty and brown that is. I'm going to say, it's totally delicious. So we're going to use these in another recipe on the Insider Club, but you could use them. See, they're quite flexible. You can use them for anything that you would use a normal tortilla for. They're grain-free, they're gluten-free, they're nut-free. We do have coconut flour. I don't know if that counts as a nut or not. And really, really easy to use. A little bit fiddly, but you get a great result. So I'm hoping that you're all going to go away and make some of those and come and tell me all about it. Low carb, no carb almost. No carb. Can't do better than that. Thanks. Cut. Looking for coconut flour. Oh, I don't know. Do you think that's coconut flour? Maybe that's almond meal. Let Matt cut all that about me running out.